Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. I'm Kalikaiz, and I hate to tell you, but I think Pauper just got broken again. This is Hawkeye's bow. It is a spoiled, leaked card from the new Marvel set. So, leaks are something I don't normally talk about, but this one is pretty wild, and we're going to get the full set on June 8th anyway, so I might as well give it my thoughts right now. Hawkeye's bow is a single red for an artifact equipment that says equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has reach. Whenever equipped creature becomes tapped, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you can equip it for a single mana. Why does this matter? Well, in Pauper, there's a card called Seeker of Skybreak. Seeker of Skybreak, not very expensive right now, but that might go up because it's got tap to untap target creature. You can target any creature, including itself. That means it's going to combo with the Hawkeye's bow and deal infinite damage at instant speed, just forever. You can beat Strands by passing to their turn, obviously. Now, this is important because the Glee combo was destroying the Pauper format. Everyone had to play things like Snuff Out. So let's go take a look at the original Glee deck. This is something that I pulled up from my Mox field. This is Sadistic Glee combo, if you don't recall. We had Basking Broodscale, which was 1 and a green, so a 2-mana creature, just like the Seeker of Skybreak. Basking Broodscale over here. This one was a 2/2, so it didn't die to Lava Dart like the Seeker of Skybreak may. And then you combine it with Sadistic Glee, which said whenever a creature dies, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. That gave you an infinitely sized creature and infinite mana. But you still had to find an outlet. You had to attack with your infinitely sized creature, which means that you had to pass and pass back and then blast in, or you could make, your Writhing Chrysalis bigger, or you could have a Nadir's Nightblade in play and your tokens were going in and out of the battlefield, which would kill your opponent. This combo does not use the combat step, so we have 3 cards to work with. This deck was using 3 Duress and 3 Safekeeping. So I'm thinking about this. Let's look at what I came up with. Some minor changes to the black-green plus red version. We're playing red for Inventor's Axe, but that's going to be our card, Hawkeye's Bow. Bitter Reunion as a 2-drop. This filters your draws. Hopefully you'll put a lot of cards in your hand with Eviscerer's Insight, Fanatical Offering, and Ichor Wellspring. And then we have, so this gives your creature haste. If you have this in play, you can equip and then haste it up, deal infinite damage. Lots of protection means this is going to be hard to fight through. And we also have Shambling Ghast still to sacrifice to our Eviscerator's Insight or Fanatical Offering, which can take out something like a Krark-Clan Shaman or a Crypt Rats or even an opposing Seeker of Skybreak. Then I've got the Writhing Chrysalis in here as the main deck way to just, go over the top of blue decks. One interesting card, Barrels of Blasting Jelly. So before we had Deadly Dispute to give us tons and tons of colored mana, Barrels of Blasting Jelly is something that I've been experimenting with in things like Altertron, and I've seen pilots do well with this playing it in Flickertron. It says add 1 mana of any color, activate only once each turn, and then for 5 mana you can sacrifice it and you deal 5 damage to target creature. This means that we have a very large amount of fixing in our deck now. I have the Twisted Landscape to fetch up the swamp, mountain, or forest. I have the Shambling Ghast to make a treasure token. I have Barrels of Blasting Jelly, so we have 8 ways to make red here. And then we have 6 ways to make red in the mana base. I don't think that the mana is going to be that big of a problem. The main issue may be that the barrels doesn't draw you a card, but it can kill things in the format and really push you through. Just the best card draw engine in the format at the moment is still the Dispute package with Wellspring, Fanatical, and Eviscerer's Insight. I did not modify the sideboard here, but one thing that players will have to consider is the red deck. So Mono Red Madness, if we go and take a look at that, I'll pull up just a version that I have in my library. So this has Lava Dart. Lava Dart being in the graveyard at any point in time will be very difficult for this new Glee to fight through. And the Mono Red Madness deck is one of the most played decks in the format. The other thing is that your combo includes a red card. This means that for decks that are playing blue will be able to stop your combo by playing the card Hydroblast. Hydroblast is a card that's played in every blue deck just to fight the red deck. So it opens you up to that. But you have more space for interaction with your duresses and your safekeepings. One other thing that players had played in the past was Last Rites. Last Rites is discard any number of cards and target player reveals their hand, then you choose a non-land card from it for each card discarded that way, and that player discards those cards. The best way to have played this in the past was to end step Eviscer's Insight or Fanatical Offering a couple of Wellsprings going up to like 10, 15, 12 cards in hand, right? And then you Last Rites them, you strip yourself from a bunch of resources, but that's all you need because I have this Bitter Reunion in play. With the Bitter Reunion in play, I can play out the Seeker of Skybreak plus the Inventor's Axe, equip not the Inventor's Axe, but still the Hawkeye's bow. It's just the Inventor's Axe here for display purposes. But then we can give our creature haste, ping our opponent, GG. We don't actually need Flaring Pain, I don't think. And this deck also doesn't lose to some of the things that the Glee deck did lose to. We had Standard Bearer in the format, which requires being targeted. So cards like the Sadistic Glee would have to be targeting the Standard Bearer and not the Basking Broodscale. This means that this gets around that because you cannot equip to an opponent's creature. But it is interesting that we have an issue with Hydroblast, so we're not forcing the format to move into a black-based situation. So maybe this could be less unhealthy for the format. Now, this sideboard gives you just very clean answers here. We don't know yet what is going to be the best thing to be doing. We don't know if this is going to be fast enough to be able to beat the Spy combo, but if this deck is able to play Force Snuff Out and Mezfiends, I think you can take out Spy pretty well. If you want to transition into just Writhing Chrysalis plus Weather the Storm and Breath Weapons, that may work versus the red deck. It's going to be a little bit touch and go, so that'll be interesting to see. And I wanted to check out a couple of solitaire matches to see how does this deck look? Is it going to play out? Are we going to kill people on turn 3? How is the mana base, right? So I started a solitaire game here. This is turn 4. Instead of winning, I played Seeker of Skybreak. But here I have the Barrels of Blasting Jelly in play. So I could duress them on this turn with no black sources in play, right? Let's just duress ourselves using the spawn. We duress ourselves, we get rid of a random card, we untap. I can just play the Seeker. I can use the Barrels of Blasting Jelly plus this Landscape and Fanatical Offering, sacrificing the Wellspring, still having the safekeeping around. We didn't find, and then we can just keep this going with the protection, clear the way, and use the combo. So let's see if I can make it happen on turn 3. Let's try another solitaire game. Okay, so this hand is probably fine. We found a swamp, so that means we just get to, curve out. We found the Seeker Skybreak. We wouldn't have a red source. Just play the Seeker, I guess, and see what we can draw into. Shambling Ghast. I'll play the Landscape for black. Maybe for black, play the Shambling Ghast. One thing to consider is, okay, this creature has untapped target creature. Does that mean that we want to be playing some sort of let's just go ahead and eviscerate inside the Shambling Ghast, make a treasure token. We want to say, if this is untapping creatures and it's in play, not getting killed, do we want to be playing something like a Llanowar Elf? Find out. Do we want to be playing Malevolent Rumble? That's an option as well. In the past, I wasn't the biggest fan of Malevolent Rumble. And then here's the axe, and we just win the game. This is turn 5. A lot of the problem with these decks is whether or not you find the combo on time. And that's sort of why we are playing the Writhing Chrysalis backup plan. Ooh, speaking of backup, let's show you some more information about things that you can play in the deck. Right, we have Writhing Chrysalis here as a way to go through your opponent. Try to force them to deal with 2 things at once. So Hanger Scrounger, it has backup for 1. Whenever this creature becomes tapped, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. But the backup thing, it says when this creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following ability until end of turn, which is the ability of the Hanger Scrounger. That means that you can loot or rummage through your entire deck with Seeker of Skybreak until you find your Inventor's Axe, or your Hawkeye's bow, slap it on the Seeker, and win in one turn. All of that's pretty interesting. I think it's going to be interesting to watch how the Pauper format will fiddle with the deck and try to figure it out. During the Glee era, there was also a straight up black-green Glee not playing the Writhing Chrysalis. So you could play a lot of interaction. You might be doing a thing where you just play Weather the Storm in the main deck and just try to not die. The other thing that you could do is, if this is a green deck, you could be playing a package that some people played, which was Generous Ent and Exhume. I think that the options are kind of limitless here, but the thing is, our 2-card combo is a thing that I'm a little bit worried about. We are looking at 1 month before Paupergeddon, which is one of the largest Pauper tournaments in the world. Well, I guess it's the largest Pauper tournament in the world. We're also 1 month prior to Pauper Genesis, which is going to be the largest Pauper event that's happened in the United States so far. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you think this thing is getting banned. Will the PFP do it before it even releases? Probably not. How would you build this deck? Would you slap it into elves and go backup combo looking for the bow? Do you think that Lava Dart will just make it not a problem? It's all very interesting to see. I am really stoked for this. I was actually thinking about Black-Green Glee and how I kind of wanted to play it for some reason. And we'll see how it affects the Pauper format. This has been a one-off for me just because of the very exciting situation here with this new card. I will be back with more League videos, more meta recaps. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit me up in Patreon and get into the YouTube channel to see weird videos like this early. I will see you in the next one.